Yes, guys, welcome from me, Change Manager 0102. It's been a while, but it's player profile time. We have a request from Mr. F9524. Mate, you're always going to be known as Mr. F to me. This is for you. This is a player profile on the one and only, the great left back in the world, it has to be said, Roberto Carlos. So where do we start, Roberto Carlos? Let's start with CM. So I fired up a game here, start of season 8, so 7 seasons in, so we can get a bit of a perspective of what kind of player he is within the game. You'd have him in your team, and he would start the game as 28 years of age, so he would start really at his prime. And let's just have a gander. He starts at Real Madrid, and for the benefit of this, he's not moved. Now, so let's go back to season 1. To be honest with you, 7 assists isn't the greatest. I mean, you can see there it weren't until sort of 30 odd years old, 31, 35, 33 shall I say, sorry, 10 assists. Very prolific in respect of average rating, so he doesn't have too many bad games. Interestingly though, his worst season has come when he had his most assists, which I think is a little bit bizarre. He's not someone I've had many times, if I'm truly honest. He's one of those players, a bit like Van Nistelrooy, he don't really move. The only way you're looking to get him is if he goes on a free transfer. So, it is quite an interesting one. But then that being said, he's 35 years of age here in this, and he still looks the bollocks. And based on those attributes, I would still say he's got another year or 2 in him. I mean, at least at the bare minimum of 1 year. For the benefit of this game, which I fired at mine and Matt's game here for the benefit of this, he is on a rolling contract. I think you can get at least 1 more year out of him. I do think, you know, it depends really. Let's just see what Real Madrid play. Well, we can't really see, but it don't really matter what they play. I mean, you're only really going to play him as a left back. But you'd certainly be having him as your corner taker. If we do a quick... Oh, we can't, can we? I'd say, let's, if you did a quick coach report on him, if you had him, they'd probably say that he would be a valuable asset to your team, as he would be, in my opinion, to absolutely any team. Roberto Carlos, let's talk about him now in real life. He is 50 years of age, and he's one of those players, right, because of his history, you don't want to see him get old, because a lot of people, myself especially, you remember Roberto Carlos for one thing, and that is the free kicks. You know, there's 2 things that I think back to. There was this, like, free kicks that just bent around completely, ridiculously. And there was another thing I saw recently on YouTube. It was something like crazy goals from corners, and it was a Real Madrid where Beckham played a really short corner, and Carlos just literally drilled it through. It was absolutely insane. He drilled it through. The thing about Carlos, though, right, he wasn't just a club football team player. He did it for Brazil as well. You know, if you had a free kick, it would be him taking it. And in all fairness, corners, he was a good corner taker. He was a good penalty taker. You know, take nothing away. Now, another memory I've got of Roberto Carlos, right? You'll remember this. You know when you all go to the cinema, yeah? You'll go to the cinema and they chuck all them adverts in, you know, to get you hungry and thirsty. There was a Pepsi advert. Now, you all know what I'm going to say here? There was a Pepsi advert with all these fucking Man United stars and the probably similar sort of year, actually, because Veron was at Man United at the time. And it was like a Cowboys and Indians. It was sort of like a Western sort of thing where Beckham and Gary Neville and Beckham and Giggs and Veron, they walk into a bar and it's something like Casillas and Beckham has a free kick. He takes a free kick past Casillas. It's like all sort of the cowboy hats on, and he takes his free kick to beat Casillas, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world at the time. But he ends up cheating, basically. Somebody whistles and a horse kicks the ball and scores the goal. So Beckham takes the credit, takes a bottle of Pepsi. Rivaldo, there's a sign saying Rivaldo wanted for a reward, and he's watching around the corner. But in the place where the ball goes and it smashes the window, Roberto Carlos is there getting his hair cut, and he walks out because obviously he equally is the free kick taker. So it's just something I always remember, because I always think at the time, I'm like, look, it would have been about 20, 2001, 2002 that was done, give or take. And I always think to myself, wow, that must have been an expensive advert. But it would have only been expensive to supplement those people. Because in terms of making it shouldn't have been that bad. But then I always think Roberto Carlos, he was the king in respect of free kick takers. I don't care what anyone says. Beckham, yes, Beckham could get height on it. But more times than most, it probably he would fail in that. Carlos's free kicks would literally just bend round. Do you remember that of a Brazilian, Branca, played for Middlesbrough when Middlesbrough started to get a relatively decent team? He also could bend these free kicks. Not as good as Carlos, but they were brilliant. So Roberto Carlos then, Real Madrid legend, 300 odd games, or close to 400 actually. And 47 goals. Now, 47 goals in 370 for Real Madrid emphasises what sort of player he was at set pieces, given the fact that he's a left back, because, you know, you can't argue at that. Before Real Madrid, does anybody know where he was before Real Madrid? Bear in mind, it was for only a year, and it was Inter Milan. Now, in all fairness, right, 95, 96, it's when Italy started to really get on the map. So, obviously, he'd have been, I don't know how old he would have been. About 23, something like that. I don't know. But he started out in Brazil in 91. Now, I didn't actually know this. I checked this, because I did wonder what happened to Carlos after Real. I actually thought he might have retired, to be honest with you. But he didn't, because I wrote these down. I didn't realise he went to Fenerbahce. And I don't know, I wouldn't advise any player, unless you're from that country, to go to Turkey. I mean, Turkey's a weird place. But then I thought, I wondered where he went, and he actually had a couple of years. Now, let me just work something out then. So he went there in 2007, so he went at the age of 34, so probably still had a couple of years in real life, before going to Corinthians. And then he, now... It was only 6 years ago that he was playing, or 7 years ago. So 43 years of age, he was still playing. He played for a team, an Indian team called, I wrote this down, Odisha Football Club, an Indian professional football club. And he had 3 games. Now that was, I worked it out, that was 2015/16. So what's that then? 7 years ago. So he'd have been 43 years of age. He had 3 games. But he amassed, right, get this, 590 odd appearances with 69 goals. But, you know, that's quite something. Now, managerial-wise, this is interesting because he was a manager, and whether he got dismissed or what, but then he came back and went to that Indian team. So he was a coach at Anzi. I bet you, right, that was when Anzi had all that money. And he was the manager of, I have to write this down, a Turkish club, which I didn't even know, I've never even heard of him, Sivasspor Kulübü. He was manager of them in 2013/14. Again, I don't know why. Now, I actually think 2015 was a weird year for him, because he also then went to another Turkish club in 2015, Akhisarspor Kulübü, another Turkish site manager, another Turkish team, and he then went to become the manager of Odisha. He became the manager of Odisha in 2015, and he had 3 games. So little did I realise he was player manager. I'm assuming he was player manager. I read, right, and this is what didn't make sense about what I'm reading here, but I read that he was manager in 2015, but over the course of the 2015-16 season, he had 3 games. I'm guessing, I'd have to do more extensive searching into, somebody might be able to confirm that. If you do, share it with us. It does say, when I checked, current team, he's retired, which is what I was led to believe anyway. But he is now... he is officially 50 years old, I know that. So I'm looking at a picture of him now, actually, when he was with Fenerbahce in 2007, and he does not look fucking happy. He does not look happy. But, yeah, absolute great player. If you've got any player profiles that you guys want, Just pop it down, send it to me, and I will, when I get time, I like to just fire all my videos out in one hit. Just to add to something that I said on one of my previous videos, let me know what you think of the new intro and the outro, which is just about to come up. And if you think it's better, if you think it's just a waste of fucking time, if you think it's too long, the intro is about 15 seconds, the outro is about 5 seconds. But do let me know. And until next time from me, guys, take it easy.